all right. So, as someone who's been very, very vocal in this community when it comes to demanding better, when it comes to setting standards of what I expect from these companies, et cetera, I definitely gotta open up to you guys, man. I gotta be upfront with this one. So, excuse me, I don't mean to offend anybody. If I do offend anybody, which would be weird if I do offend you over this, but nah, I'm gonna be upfront when it comes to this show completely, because some stuff happened behind the scene and a lot of people just didn't notice it, and it's crazy. And obviously, if it was Microsoft, you guys already know we would be all over it without a doubt. So without further ado, let's start. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Big Cloud here, back again with another video. So yesterday was Sony's first ever attempt at a Nintendo Direct. It was basically called State of Play. I don't know why they're calling it State of Play, but they're calling it State of Play. This is episode 1. Episode 1 was focusing strictly on VR games, and that was pretty much it. You know, we had Days Gone shown, and the reason why they showed Days Gone at this event, for those of you that did not know, Days Gone launches next month. All right, that's a major release for the PlayStation 4, and they showed it here because they know for a fact they want to get a few, you know, they want to get some quick ads on there, you know, to get it out there, the word out that the game is definitely going to launch, you know, next month. They also showed off Concrete Genie, but really the main star of the show was VR. And this show as a whole has had a lot of people looking at like, what was the point of this? And I'm with you. At the end of the day, I'm with all of you guys. After watching this show, after sitting through this show, after literally just, you know, expecting a lot from it, not in terms of like crazy announcements, right? Because I told you guys at the start when I was watching it live, I wasn't expecting no crazy announcements, but I was at least, you know, expecting something, you know, something that was feasible for this show. They didn't show off anything. And to tell you the truth, they kind of treated it like an Inside Xbox event, you know, with a mix of Nintendo Direct. They focused on third-party games and they focused on VR, and that was pretty much it for Sony's first ever attempt. Was it a great show? No. Wasn't a great show by a long shot. Was it an amazing show? No, not even close to amazing. And on that note alone, guys, I'm gonna tell you, man, this is where we need to start demanding better from not just Microsoft, but also from Sony. At the end of the day, if you're not going to give us, you know, no crazy announcements, right, or no crazy good announcements, then for the love of Christ, do not advertise this show as if you're going to drop something big. Just do not. Do not. You know, and I don't know if it's because Sony's #1 this generation. Maybe that's the problem too, right? Because, like, let's be real here. Ever since 2013, ever since we've seen Sony events from 2013 to now in 2019, Sony's always had like the bigger priority over everybody else. Their shows seem to be the main ones that everybody tunes into when it comes to information and bigger announcements. Maybe that's just the thing that's playing in, you know, against them when it comes to this actual show. And if that's the case, then I guess that's probably the problem here too. But again, I'm gonna be real with y'all. This show was nothing to be jumping out your seat over at all. Unless you have a PlayStation VR, you're not walking out of that show. You know, you're not walking out of that direct style event and going, oh my God, that was amazing. You're not, unless you have a VR, maybe. You know, maybe the Iron Man VR did it for you if you were a VR guy or whatever. But that was pretty much the show in a nutshell. And my final verdict for that show, after, you know, definitely going back and rewatching it, I got to give it a 5 out of 10. That's just my review. I'll give it a 5 for sure. Not really a 6. I gave it a 6 my first time. It's more like a 5, guys. More like a 5. And that's my way of going about it. Now, speaking of PlayStation again, and again, this is why I said, you know, this show kind of just, it missed an opportunity here. Even though this is a patent, still, you know, hint at something, you know, show something, show some excitement for gamers. They didn't really do anything of that nature. So, but according to this patent is talking about Sony getting the gifting option or the gifting feature later down the road. Now, whether this is going to be part of PlayStation 5 or the new infrastructure that they're going to eventually upgrade with the PlayStation PlayStation 5 and PlayStation Network, etc., going into the future, we shall see. Not necessarily sure what's going to happen with this, but it is a patent. And one thing you guys need to take into consideration when it comes to patents is that not all patents are 110% going to happen. They're just, you know, there. They're kind of like afterthoughts. They're ideas that are thrown out there that could eventually be implemented, but at the end of the day could never be implemented, you know? So that's my thoughts on that situation. And this is where I guess I'll get to the last one. Now, this last one right here, okay, now, again, this is why I said, Sony, you need to do a better job when it comes to these shows and not necessarily just, you know, like hyping people up for the sake of hyping them up and then showing them ultimately nothing, right? They had a poll out here. Now this poll, again, they're talking about which system would you rather buy, and basically this entire poll was dedicated to Stadia, but they also threw in the actual consoles in there, you know, for the sake of throwing in the consoles. And not so surprisingly, people picked the PlayStation 5 over the next gen Xbox because, again, Sony is known for what? Higher quality games and higher quality, you know, in terms of variety. That's all it was. That's what people picked it for. And again, Sony, you have a lot of people invested into your platform, a lot of people who still want to be invested in your platform. So if you want to keep these people, you got to continue to deliver the best experience and not necessarily do shows that are just mediocre. That doesn't do anything for the fans at the end of the day. And you canceling shows and not showing up to these events and not even so much as giving them, you know, so much as a heads up or a show that can substitute for the, you know, for your absence doesn't really paint a big picture or a bright picture for a lot of people. So, you know, that's that as well. But yeah, that's what that is. Again, I'm not surprised by the results of that poll, just like I'm not surprised by people who said they might not even pick either one because, you know, there was a high pick on that. But again, that's what that was. So, again, the situation involving PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, E3 just needs to be, it needs to still be a thing. It needs to continue to be a thing. There should be nothing. No one should be against E3 at this point. No one. These small little events, these small little shows, these soap opera-like shows they're trying to do for gaming, most certainly need to stop. They need to stop. If this is the route we're going to go, where we're going to get mediocre shows, the last thing we need to do is see, or the last thing we need to see is cringy shows that don't show us anything, for one, and another show that dedicates, you know, to damn executives acting like fools and pretending to do stuff when they're not doing stuff. We don't need to see this stuff. We really don't. We don't. All right? We don't. We're consumers at the end of the day, so let's demand better, guys. Let's demand better. Seriously, can we seriously demand better? I'm just saying, can we demand better? That's my thoughts on the whole situation. I'm going to be 100% with you. That's my honest opinion on the shows and how I thought everything went. All right? This is Big Cloud Gaming signing out. And before I let me rephrase that. Before I signed out, shout out to Jay Fonzarelli. Because another point about that PlayStation Direct, Sony actually took the stream down. They changed the time because it was getting hit with a lot of dislikes. The approval rating for PlayStation's event is not high. So if you guys look at the reviews of it, like, you know, the actual dislikes and whatnot, it's not high. Everybody was disliking it to oblivion. And Sony took it down for the sake of taking it down and then re-uploaded at a different time. It was crazy. So, yeah, just throwing it out there. So, I want to just put that out there because, you know how people are. They try to flip that. Oh, you're just hating? No. This is the people have spoken. Gamers have spoken. We demand better. We need better from all of them, you know. And the last thing we need to do is see the person who, you know, the main one who's up front, right? The one who's number one right now, which is Sony, taking their sweet time and being, you know, just like, oh, I don't need to show this, you know, because, you know, we got the title already. No. We need to see what you guys are working on, especially when you're not even going to be at the big show of them all, or the biggest show of them all. Just saying. All right? So this is Big Cloud Gaming. Now I'm officially signing out. You guys have a good one. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.